Hello and welcome to a quick review of the Railpro system. I've been using it now for about 4 to 5 months and can report back on some of my experiences and things that I've learned. First off is the controller. Hard plastic outer shell, metal knob. Main button up here is metal as well. This right here is the charging port. On the other side we have the USB port plugged into the computer, and you download files and updates from the internet. Pretty sturdy. I actually dropped it from about 5 feet up onto a concrete floor, accidentally of course. Still worked just fine. As far as the size goes, compare it here to a Digitrax UT4 and Digitrax DT400. I don't have any NCE equipment, so this is all I've got to compare it to right now. Definitely a lot larger than the UT4, a little bit thicker, and a little bit smaller than the DT400 lengthwise, but a little bit wider. Now, as far as using it, some people have been concerned that you can't use it in one hand. I can. My hands aren't that big, but I'm able to control the throttle with my thumb, no big deal. The reverse button is up here, the horn button's over here on this side. You can change where that stuff is. It's not that difficult, but I can definitely use it one hand without any sort of an issue. I do still look at it every once in a while to make sure that I'm doing the right buttons if I'm doing switching or whatever. But yeah, not terribly difficult. As far as the controller goes here, press the main button to turn on the screen, and it turns on that fast every time. I think it's always in a suspend mode. It never actually turns off, so it just kind of goes very quickly. Main screen here, going to tools, will update any products that you have by copying files. You can update programs, delete, whatever you need to do. So I can add sounds or anything I want to any locomotive that I have. Pressing the big button returns it straight to the main screen. If you press adjust settings, this brings up a few interesting things. The software version is found right there, and so if you are unsure of what software version you have, take a look at that, compare it to what is available on the Railpro website, and you can download updates. You want everything updated as far as it can go. Here I've got the locomotive page. I have it installed right now in 6 locomotives. 2 Atherns, one of them is a blue box, one of them is a ready to roll, 3 Atlases, and 1 Broadway Limited. So selecting on any of these locomotives will bring it up. When you're at that page, you can do a few different things. Pressing on the button tab, or that little adjustment tab, you can change the name, you can change the password, sound volume. Button setup will allow you to change all of these buttons down here, which control all the effects. There are 2 pages of adjustments at this point, so you can have a total of 16 buttons, and there's probably going to be more in the future. But at this point you can select what you want each button to be, lights, sounds, what type of sound. So the horn right now I have it set on a Nathan. I can click that there and change it to anything that I want if I have it loaded on that particular locomotive. And then here is where you adjust the individual sound volumes for each thing that you want to do. In addition to that, you can do for the lighting different effects. For dimming, you can adjust how dim you want it to be when you press that button. Any adjustments that you do here, you want to go back and you want to save them before you continue on. So let me just kind of demonstrate that. This is a 25-year-old Atherton blue box, still has the original motor in it. A little bit of fine tuning, and it runs pretty well. See if I can get this set up in a good position so you can see. So I'm at the main screen here. Press the engine button to turn it on. This is the EMD 645 turbo sound that they have. Sounds nice. It doesn't quite have that high turbo whine that you find on a lot of the SD42s and things, but the beauty to this system is that you can it can always be updated, so they can do different sounds for different prime movers. So front light, I have 2 ditch light on buttons down here, one for each individual ditch light, and that allows me to flash them if I want. This is the diesel bell sound. If you listen closely, you can kind of hear the air pressure clacker. Coupler sound. And I have this here. If you can read it, notch up and notch down. You are able to change this from manual notching to automatic notching. Right now it's on automatic, but if I go to the settings, advanced setup, sound setup. Right now it's on auto, switch it to manual. That easy. And then I can just do manual notching. And it goes all the way up to notch 8, but I won't take it there. And go back and change it back to auto. So I have my loco set to start moving it around, between 5 and 10%. And you can see it's barely crawling along right now. And again, taking into account this is a 25-year-old blue box, still runs pretty good. This next one that I have here is an Ather and ready to roll. This is one of the newer versions. So I'll select it here on the locomotive screen, and you can see, if you go back to the locomotive screen, that I've got custom pictures here for all of my locos. 2 of them aren't weathered or detailed or anything yet, the other ones are. So when you do a loco, you can take a picture, send it to Ring Engineering, and when you buy one of their locomotive modules, it has a little picture conversion code in there. Give it to them and they'll send it back the very next day, set for you to load on. So this here represents a rebuilt GP35 into a GP38-2. So this has the 645 roots blower. So we'll listen to that. And this particular locomotive has a Leslie on it. Alright. Let me adjust this camera here. So again, pretty smooth. So I've got them both hooked up here. I'm going to select both locomotives, make sure that engines and everything are on. So when you're going to consist, this is how you do it. You have the locomotives coupled the way you want them to be coupled. You're going to go up here, press link. It's going to say select locomotive 1. My lead locomotive will be the X Santa Fe. The other locomotive will be the Heritage 3. Press done, and then what you want to do is select the MU locomotives. And this is how they're set up right now. You can see the reverse one is in the wrong direction, so I'm going to press that, select it forward. That's it. So now they're consisted. There is no speed matching or anything here. They're all set to go. So let's go ahead and turn it up a little bit. And we'll watch them just kind of start to move here in just a minute. And that's it. Now if we follow along, you see the couplers are staying nice and tight. And that's how easy it is. That's consisting, not a big deal. This is a Broadway Limited that I installed it in. This one has, again, the EMD 645 turbo. This one's a little bit louder. I've got 2 oval speakers in there, or actually 2 circle speakers, 32 millimeters. They're big. This is what it sounds like. And I turned this one way down because it was way too loud before. What I wanted to show you on this one is some of the different lighting effects you can have. This particular locomotive, the prototype's got the strobe light on the top. I sent Tim at Ring Engineering a video of the prototype locomotive with the strobe flashing, and he sent me back an email 5 minutes later saying that it was completed and ready to download that particular lighting effect. So here's what I want to show you. So a nice little strobe light up there. Also show you the dimming effect. If you look at that front headlight, turn on the dim, you can do it that way. Here's a couple of atlases. I wanted to show this other prime mover sound that I have installed. These are unmodified, pretty much just stock. So this is with the GE 16 cylinder. Now this sound is well installed, dual speakers, nice baffle. It's hard to hear on the camera, I'm sure, but in person you can definitely hear some bass there. Let me go ahead and turn on the other one here as well. And I'm going to link these, just like we did previously. So number 1, number 2, press done, check the directions. I want the last one to be reversed, and that's it. These are set to go. You can see excellent slow speed control, and they can go up as fast as you want them to. And right now they're pulling a train of about 35 cars or so, nothing too big. One thing I want you to see is you can see the status of each locomotive in real time by clicking on info. This will pull up how much power it's actually drawing, pull up the voltage of the track, and how warm the module is, which is great to know, especially running on a club layout like I am here. Track work is not the best, and so you can find spots that that need more power drops and things like that. But you can do this for each locomotive. Right now I'm looking at the lead, but if I click on the locomotive, it takes me back to the screen. I'll select the follower, do the same thing, and you can see the follower will usually draw a little bit less as far as current. It's the lead one that sets the pace and the load, and then the other ones will follow. Alright, I've got all 6 hooked up together here, so I'll show you how easy it is to consist, again, with all of them. So I'll start with the lead here, select link, locomotive number 1 here, locomotive number 2 this one, locomotive 3, 4, 5, and 6. And you can just keep going and adding locomotives as you want. So now they're all hooked up. Let's make sure they're all in the right direction. So that one's forward, next one is reversed, the next one is also reversed. Go to the next page, forward, forward, and reverse. Done, that's it. Everything's consisted, and we'll take it away.